Here was Shaun Seow with Philanthropy Asia Alliance at ESG News during New York Climate Week. How are you, Shaun, today?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you very much for having me.
Wonderful. So, Shaun, can you introduce to us Philanthropy Asia Alliance and share your vision for catalyzing collaborative philanthropy in Asia?
Sure, we're really new, 24 months old, created by Temasek Trust, which is the non-profit arm of Temasek Holdings. That's an investment firm, a global investment firm. So we're created as an alliance of international funders, including ones in Asia as well, to try and catalyze collaborative philanthropy um, for Asian challenges in the areas of health, climate, and education. And what we want to do is really to make sure that we solve for the really wicked problems that's confronting the world with an Asian lens.
So, why is Asia so critical for the world's climate future, and what unique challenges and opportunities does the region present?
Asia has a duality about it. You probably know Chinese. There's a word called Weiji, which stands for crisis, which really embodies that in every crisis there's an opportunity as well. So let me talk a little bit about the risks of Asia. Asia is home to what, more than half the world's population. It's also highly pollutive. 90% of the coal plants being planned are in Asia, unfortunately. 90 of the 100 cities that are most climate vulnerable are in Asia as well. But Asia presents a lot of opportunity. I mean, in Asia, you've got great carbon sinks, the mangroves that are growing along the coastlines of Asia. You've got a lot of invention coming out of Asia, innovation in terms of renewables is really where the great transition investments are the greatest in the world. And you can't deny that China is really streets ahead in the innovation space for renewables. And I think the third thing that's happening, interestingly, in Asia is really the cadence of blended finance initiatives out of Hong Kong and Singapore. They're great financial capitals of the world. And what is happening out in Asia are a lot of piloting to think about how philanthropic capital could actually tease in private capital to really scale solutions.
I love that you highlighted the challenges, but also the immense opportunities. Yeah. What role can philanthropy play in driving climate action? And could you share some successful examples from Asia?
Sure, I'd love to talk about that. Um, we should start thinking about philanthropy as risk capital rather than just a band-aid to give a check and then see a happy smile on the child's face for a bursary, for a scholarship. That's important. But what's more catalytic for philanthropy is really thinking about how it could encourage government policy, how it could tease in big private capital pools I talked about earlier. So some of the interesting experiments in Asia, a couple I can talk a little bit about. One's really about okay, in Asia, there's a project that PAA and the members are funding. It's called SEAFOAM, stands for Southeast Asia Framework for Ocean Action and Mitigation. But essentially what it does is that philanthropic players are actually working with some governments in Southeast Asia to really think about how you bake in blue economy, blue carbon into the NDCs and really help them think a little bit about how they could approach climate action with the oceans in mind. I love the oceans. Oceans is really big on the PA agenda. It's big in Asia because we've got such fantastic coastlines, fantastic corals as well. But you know what's interesting about that is that it's really trying to make sure that we drive systems change. At the end of the day, it is really not just a study. But what's the next phase? Is it capacity building for the officials to really think about I should really think about marine protected areas. I should really think about what it means about overfishing and how to address that. That's and now we're looking at, say, a second phase of funding capacity building. I think this systems change is really what's very useful for philanthropy in Asia. The second example I could talk a little bit about is climate change, but through the lens of rice. We all eat rice in Asia and in the US as well. You eat a lot of sushi. So rice cultivation is extremely damaging to to the environment. You know about the methane that it emits. What we're funding at the moment are science trials for a kind of a rice cultivation that's a lot more friendly to the environment. It emits 30% less methane, and the crop and the strain we're using is really a lot more climate resistant. So when you think about the science, the trials that are happening right now in rice fields in Indonesia, Laos, and India, beyond the science, what do we have to do to drive it to adoption so that the rice we buy at Costco's in one of the, Walgreens here would really be friendly to the environment? And when we all do that, that will really help to move the climate agenda forward. And what philanthropy can do is really beyond the science to really think about offtake, to really think about getting private sector supply chains and encouraging people to be buying this sort of rice. And I think that's really the systems change we're trying to drive towards.
Those are such concrete examples, and I love that you brought up the blue economy. I was at the UN Ocean Conference this summer.
So was I.
Oh, no way. Okay, well, we should chat more about that afterwards. So, I think there's more chat about the ocean and the blue economy. And, rice is something that is ingested by so many millions and billions of people. And I think that can be really an impactful kind of innovation to help us reduce the impact.
I hope so.
Yeah. Thanks for stopping by today, Shaun. It was really great to chat with you.
Thank you. Nice chatting with you.